The Boston Celtics won Game 3 in the most interesting fashion they possibly could. Going up 20, blowing a 20-point lead, coming back, winning in the fourth quarter. So 106-99 is the final score. They have kept the Dallas Mavericks under 100 points in 3 games in the NBA Finals as the Celtics are up 3-0. But the job's not finished, and there's still some lingering questions as to when and how will Kristaps Porzingis play in Game 4. So I want to go ahead and break that down here, the latest on Kristaps Porzingis per Shams Charania, and I want you guys to go ahead and do one thing for me as well. If you guys are glad the Boston Celtics are up 3-0 versus the Dallas Mavericks, go ahead and like this video. I know. Job's not finished, but I guess we at least get to just celebrate a little bit. Hit that thumbs up. Go on ahead, like this video if you're glad the Celtics are up 3-0 while we go on ahead and jump into the latest Kristaps Porzingis injury update. I know there's been a lot of different reports out there, but honestly, we just have to keep moving with what is the most recent. And with that being said, the most recent comes from Shams Charania out of Run It Back TV. Here's what he had to say about Kristaps Porzingis earlier this morning. He is moving and worked out yesterday. The Celtics medical staff did not feel he was really going to be ready for a game-like environment, but he did work out and is expected to do more today and more on Friday ahead of Game 4. As long as his movements are what the Celtics medical staff wants them to be, he does have a chance to potentially play in Game 4. The minute I read this, I thought of Lloyd Christmas from Dumb and Dumber. It says, "So you're telling me there's a chance?" I'll take the chance, man. I'll take the chance for Kristaps Porzingis to possibly have just a minutes-restricted type of game to help him win the championship ring with the Boston Celtics in Game 4 as they're already up 3-0. Like I said, I think the best information we can do with right now is the most recent information because he is day-to-day. He has not been ruled out of the NBA Finals. I know there are other reports out there. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski saying there is real doubt that he may miss the rest of the NBA series, but nonetheless, Shams Charania is saying there is a potential KP can play. We saw it yesterday in Game 3 as well. He was on the bike, he was moving, he was talking to the trainer, so they're going to make sure he is completely ready to go before he steps foot on that court, which could possibly be as soon as tomorrow in Game 4. I'm super excited. I do hope Kristaps Porzingis can play. He's been such a huge part of this Boston Celtics great regular season and the playoffs, what he could play. So with that being said, there is a potential chance Kristaps Porzingis can play in Game 4 per Shams Charania. All right, we're going to get into what the Boston Celtics had to say about the Game 3 win. But first things first, I want to make sure you guys also have the latest fashion for your Boston Celtics. Go to chatsports.com/NBA Finals, and you guys are going to be able to get the official NBA Finals t-shirt. Let me tell you, I think these are the most classic t-shirts you can find out there. Whenever I go thrifting, whenever I'm going to Goodwill, or if I'm going to like a vintage sports shop, I'm looking for these shirts specifically. I love when they actually have the game, the matchup, the time, the place. I think it's perfect because look, 20 years from now, when you guys are telling your grandkids about how you were there when they won Banner 18, boom, you give them this shirt. They have the hottest shirt out there. So you guys can get it right now. You can rep it right now, especially if the Celtics do end up winning the NBA Finals. You're going to want this for memorabilia purposes. Chatsports.com/NBA Finals. If you've got a special man in your life as well, loves the Boston Celtics or even the Dallas Mavericks as they're on this shirt as well, I highly suggest getting them this for Father's Day coming up here. Chatsports.com/NBA Finals. That's how you guys are going to get this t-shirt. Use that link. It'll be posted underneath this video as well. Easy access. But one more time, chatsports.com/NBA Finals. Let's listen to what Jaylen Brown had to say about being up 3-0 against the Dallas Mavericks. He said, "I don't even really have the words. It kind of doesn't even really feel real right now. I'm just trying to stay in the moment. It feels great to be up 3-0 in the series, but the job's not done. This is Mamba mentality. Job is not finished. And this is what the Boston Celtics are all about on the locker room. You see it at their Game 1 when Jaylen Brown said, 'Don't get cute, fellas.' You see it at their Game 2 saying, 'We got to be hungrier.' And now Jaylen Brown, Game 3, I don't have the words for it because they're one win away from the NBA Finals. Winning it. All right, here are my 3 takeaways from what I saw here in the game. And then kind of what the Celtics also saw, and they talked about it a little bit. So I have a quote for each of these segments here because number one, the Celtics 3-ball is back. It was draining from everywhere. They're taking upwards of 40 shots. It looked beautiful. It looked pretty rough at times, but they ended up coming together and shooting over 30%. I think that's great. Joe Mazzulla also, is he the coach of the year? Should we talk about how great Joe Mazzulla has been? And the Celtics players love him. They love his crazy coaching tactics. I want you guys to hear what they have to say about Joe Mazzulla as well. And then Boston Celtics not only have one great duo, but they have two great duos. And it's time we talk about Derrick White and Jrue Holiday. But let's go ahead and talk about the Celtics 3-ball, right? Because here's what Tatum had to say about the Celtics shooting threes throughout the NBA Finals. We're never like, we need to shoot 43s a night. But if we play to our strength and space how we're supposed to, it just finds the right person. And we don't turn down any great shots. We have seen that. The Boston Celtics are phenomenal at spreading out the offense, driving down low, kicking back out, and finding a wide open three-point shooter. And most of the time it goes in because they have lethal three-point shooters as well. And here's what they've done so far in the NBA Finals when it comes to that three-point percentage. Because as you guys can see in Game 2, was not good. They ended up winning this ball game. Why? Because the Dallas Mavericks actually had an even worse three-point percentage in Game 2. But Game 1, they shot phenomenal 38%. That's what led them to a blowout win in TD Garden. And then last night in the Dallas Mavericks arena, 37%. And it took a while for those three balls to fall. Even Derrick White, he ended up shooting 4 of 10. And those 4 took a while to be able to find that rim. So I do appreciate that the Celtics don't feel like they need to take upwards of 40 shots, but Smitty and I have been talking about this. The Celtics just do better. In the end, when they take upwards of 40, 50 three-point shots, because they have such great players that they're bound to start falling. And we've seen that in Game 1, in Game 3 specifically as well. So I'm going to be intrigued to see what the Celtics do with their 3-ball moving forward here in Game 4 if they end up taking more than 40 shots like they did in Game 3. Let's talk about Joe Mazzulla as well. Is he crazy? Is he brilliant? Or is he just crazy brilliant? Because I've been seeing all these crazy tactics that Mazzulla is doing with the Boston Celtics, and for some reason, it's working. The players love him, man. Love him. Jaylen Brown, on what the Celtics coaching staff has done so far in this playoffs, it speaks for itself, saying the coaching staff has been fantastic all season long. It's just been super organized. We walk through all different types of scenarios. We're overly prepared. And then on Joe Mazzulla, he said he's been coaching his ass off. Derrick White even said, I think Joe is a basketball genius. Obviously, Joe Mazzulla led his team to the NBA Eastern Conference Finals Game 7 last year, but that even wasn't his team. That was the team that he was given from Ime Udoka once he was fired. And now when he's done for a full year, he's just made it different. I'm sure this has probably been a very different experience for every single player that's on this roster right now. And what I'm talking about is he has different approaches to keep that dog in the fight. You got Joe Mazzulla here. Here are just some stories, rumors that I've heard about Joe Mazzulla's coaching, is that he plays UFC fights to motivate the Celtics. I saw yesterday that he said, even when you guys think you're up, you can get your ass beat, and that's what the UFC fights are showing these Boston Celtics players. He also shows animals hunting in the wild and how they track their prey. That's crazy to me. That's got to be crazy. That's literally putting the dog in the fight. I think that's crazy that he's putting out Animal Planet to show these Boston Celtics how real-life wild animals do it out there and how we should be real-life wild animals out here on the court. I mean, if it works, it works. And he also blares crowd boos in practice. This one isn't a new coaching tactic, but I do think it still works as well because they even said Dallas was intimidating. And the fact that they're just constantly pumping that kind of crowd noise into the arena while they're practicing does help them prepare for any type of crazy environment that is going to be upheld for the Boston Celtics moving forward here in the NBA playoffs. And then I want to talk about one more time here, Jrue Holiday and Derrick White. They're cooking right now. The two of them combined, the two of them separately. And I remember all this stuff going on ahead of the NBA Finals is, who's the better duo, Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic? And I'm like, you can have that argument, but you got to think, how many duos do the Dallas Mavericks have? 1, Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. How many duos do the Boston Celtics have? 2. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Derrick White and Jrue Holiday. That backcourt has been phenomenal guarding Luka and Kyrie in 3 games in the NBA Finals. Here's what Derrick White had to say about his teammate Jrue Holiday. Jrue is literally everywhere. It's unreal. I don't know how he does it. Try to learn as much as I can from him. And he's just when you think you've got an opening, he's just unreal. Holiday and Derrick White, I saw this phenomenal play here. Jrue Holiday is looking like an offensive lineman out there trying to block a quarterback pass from Kyrie Irving. Kyrie chucks it over Jrue Holiday, but then Derrick White comes in like a cornerback and completely intercepts the pass. Before he can step out of bounds, he plays toe taps with the floor, puts it up back to Jrue Holiday. Holiday feeds it to Horford. Horford gives it back to Holiday, and he drains a three. I mean, it's like they're reading each other's freaking minds out there, and they just keep showing me time and time again how dominant this duo can be moving forward. Let's talk about the 3 games that they have played. They're averaging about the same points per game, about a 1-point difference there. The rebounds falls a little bit more on Jrue Holiday. I give that credit to Holiday, who's constantly crashing offensively and defensively to the board. And then the assists are also pretty much the same there. 3.6 for Derrick White, 4.0 for Jrue Holiday. Field goal percentages, I think Jrue Holiday has taken more shots than Derrick White has as well. And obviously, Holiday's 26-point game in Game 2 really helped his 3-point percentage there. White had a pretty difficult 3-point scoring game in Game 2, which is why his percentage dropped down low. But you're essentially getting the same version of this player, but you're just duplicating it. And that's what makes him so lethal. If you guys are ready for Game 4, if you guys are ready for this just to be over, just for the Boston Celtics, hard work to pay off, enjoy your vacation, end it in 4, don't wait any longer, like this video. Hit that thumbs up button for me if you are ready for Game 4 and for the Boston Celtics to have the opportunity to sweep the Dallas Mavericks and take this one home.